so much for jumping on with us. To my Facebook land, to my Greater You Leadership Series followers, and of course, to my Women Leaders Walk the Talk audience, thank you all for jumping on with us tonight. When I say we are in for a treat, we are in for a treat. And so every time I have one of these sessions, I always say we're in for a treat. But if you all only knew what happened in the background tonight, I want you all to know that there is clearly going to be some great information, great sharing, great learning, great transparency, and bold discussions, like I always like to say. So welcome to Women Leaders Walk the Talk with the Greater You Leadership Series. And for those who haven't joined us before, I am Christin Webb. I like to call myself your chief leadership enthusiast because I love all things about leadership. I am convinced it is the tiebreaker between success and maybe not so much success for us. And so I believe any way that we can uplift ourselves in leadership, I want to do it. And even more so, I want to make sure that we are uplifting and amplifying the voice of women leaders. And while there are many, many platforms and avenues that support this particular mission and the importance of women's voices and progression in leadership, I had to put my own sauce on it, right? So I wanted to add to the conversation because you can never have enough, right? And so I also feel like it's my calling, and I'm a little biased. So I want to make sure that I'm, pushing the voices forward because we have some amazing attributions. So that's why you're here today. If you have never jumped in on a Women Leaders Walk the Talk, that's why we do this. And so I can't do it alone. I could sit here and run my mouth if you all can't tell. I could run my mouth all night, but I always want to make sure that I have an opportunity to have on some amazing women leaders with me. And tonight is no exception. I want to introduce and reintroduce and introduce and reintroduce over and over again some amazing nurse practitioners, one of which I'm still getting to know. She doesn't know her. We best friends from now, okay? Just so you know, Miss Campbell, we best friends. And Miss Toya Cook, we are still in our budding relationship, but she is an amazing, amazing woman leader. And I had to have them on tonight because while we talk women in leadership and we have these bold discussions, every time I want to make sure that we have kind of a centered focus. And this is a really important one, y'all. This is healthcare night. We're talking about the importance of our mental and our physical health. And when we think about leadership, we're just, trying to get people to move from point A to point B every day, right? We want to influence them and help them to be their better selves. But we typically, as leaders, probably, neglect the idea of how important our health is. So that we can be effective and can be at our top percent for whatever that day is. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to say hello to our family nurse practitioner tonight, LaToya Cook. If you could say hello and welcome.
Hello, and thank you. This is an honor, and I'm excited.
Good, because I'm trying to bring all the energy tonight. So, and I know I got you on here, and it's going to be awesome. So thank you for joining us again. And we also have Toya Turner with us tonight. She is your psychiatric nurse practitioner, okay? And I can't wait to pick your brain tonight, okay? So thank you. I'm so happy to have you. Welcome to the stage, Miss Toya Turner. Hi, Toya.
Hello. I'm excited. I'm ready to get into it.
Awesome. And so you all, just so you know, you are not hearing double things. We have LaToya and we have Toya on tonight. I like to call you all the dynamic Toyas. That's literally what I have you all on my calendar as, the dynamic Toyas. So I'm looking forward to listening in tonight and learning. So you all take out your notepads. If you are in the chat, leave your questions, your comments, your amens, your ooh, that hurt, that ouch, whatever you need, put it in the chat. We want to hear from you. And with that, I'm going to jump in with my first question. I always like to ask this. This sets the tone. In one word or phrase, how would you describe leadership in your own words?
Ooh, one word or phrase. I would describe leadership as, I'm going to do 2 words. Transformational and servant, like a servant.
Servant leadership, I love it. And I haven't, transformational is a new one on the show, even though transformational leadership is absolutely important. And I love that you selected that, but you're a first timer for transformational on that question. So thank you for that. And absolutely servant leadership. And I'm gonna ask you why. Why did you choose those?
Okay. Because I was able to see two people very close to me walking those two leadership styles. So I've never, I guess I would have never called myself a leader initially. But just being in the presence, one, my mom, she's always worked in leadership. And she's a servant leader. She's one that would push you, that would serve you, that would be the first one there, the last one to leave. And then my husband showed me transformational leadership, just showing how the important the impact is on helping people to transform and to reach their biggest potential. So that's why I picked those two words. And I have incorporated that when I first became a nurse, even into a nurse practitioner and owning my business. And I will say that those have truly shaped and modeled my personal and professional life.
I love it. So transformational, we have transformational and we have servant leadership. I always like to, I always get excited when I hear people talk about servant leadership because it's one of my pillars. Like I have 4 pillars that I believe really carry us into the right space for being effective across the board. And one of them, servant leadership. We have to be willing to serve. And then the whole transformational piece, I think that speaks to sustainability, like long term, being able to really transform and have that lasting impact. So love that, love that. Come on, what you got for us, Toya?
Okay, so my word for leadership is going to be guidance. And I like guidance because as a leader, that's our role. Our role is to guide and teach and innovate and coach our team so that we can have each individual person and all of us together can have one success. Like I'm gonna guide you, we're gonna guide each other to the goal that we're trying to reach together. So, and I feel like this leadership across the board, whether it's leadership at work, leadership at church, that's whatever we're doing as leaders, we're guiding our people. Jesus guided his disciples, we're guiding our people to wherever we're going.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. So we've got guide, and we have to be hosts ourselves, and we have to know how to guide ourselves first before we can even touch anybody else, right?
Right.
But I love that guide, transformation, and servant leadership. Those are our 3 words tonight, everyone. I need you all to drop that in the chat from those who are tapped in already. For those who are going to be watching later, go ahead and drop it in the chat too. We need the words guide, we need transformation, and we need servant leadership, because I always, when I ask that question, it truly tends to be the thread of what we'll hear, what'll resonate for the rest of the evening. So thank you for your openness on that. Now I get to shut up some more. We get to dig off and learn more about you, like in somewhat of a concise way, because I know we could stay here all night because you all are such dynamic women. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your journeys, whatever you want to share about your journey of leadership and who you are.
You want to go, Toya, or?
Sure, I can go. All right, so I know you may be a little confused, Campbell, Turner. So I'm Toya Campbell. My husband is Campbell. But when I started off my career in nursing, I had just passed boards as Turner, and we got married like a week later. And I just everything was in Turner, so I left everything in Turner. But my husband is Campbell, but my professional name is Toya Turner. So I'm not a spring chicken. I am an older lady who chose her second career choice later in life, my late 30s. I decided I was going to go to nursing school. And I went to nursing school and I graduated nursing school at 44. I left nursing school and I was allowed to work as my very first nursing job on a very busy ICU step down floor at Baptist Memphis, where I met my prayer warrior, my sister LaToya, and we worked those halls together. And I was allowed this opportunity by our nurse manager Her name was Wanda Grayson, and Wanda took a chance on me. And she allowed me to come out and have any nursing experience. I had worked in actually fast food management for most of my life when I was not a stay-at-home mom. So she took a chance on me and she brought me in to her on her floor. And I learned so much on that floor. I was able to walk in my ministry. All my life I had thought that singing was my ministry. Because I sing at church and sing on the praise team and other things. But I learned that nursing and serving is my ministry. And never did I think I was going to be even interested in psych, even when I did traditional nursing school and we did our psychiatric rotation, or I was like, oh, that is not for me. That's not what I'm going to be doing. That's what Toya said, but God said something differently. So as I worked on this busy ICU step down floor, God allowed me to identify that even though the people who I was taking care of, they were there for diabetes or cardiac or pulmonary issues, but about 70% or greater were also struggling with mental health issues. And what he also allowed me to identify is that the resources that we have for mental health is scarce to none. It's very limited, and it's very, mostly when we have somebody who's struggling with mental health concerns, Lakeside, that's our resource. So through my journey, even with that, I still didn't want to do mental health. I did not. That was not I just God allowed me to identify those things, and I thank you, Lord, for that. Still, but then he took me on a little farther. And when I decided that I was going to go back to school for my master's, and I spoke to the student advisor, and he asked me, okay, so I said, yeah, I want to go back to school. I want to get my master's in nursing. I want to be a nurse practitioner. He said, have you thought about your specialty? I said, yeah, I was thinking about acute care or education. And he said, okay, well, have you ever thought about mental health? And I took the phone from my ear. I was like, why would he say that? I said acute care or mental health. And so anyway, we went on and we talked, and yes, we went on and we talked. And so when we got off the phone, I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And that night I went, I'm a prayer. I'm a prayer warrior. I believe in hearing what God has for us. So I went into my quiet place and I was like, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, I need confirmation, because this ain't really what I want to do. So, and I got confirmation, and ever since then, he has been opening doors. Like everything, like I started school, we were starting the pandemic, even with just clinicals, he allowed me to be able to have, do my clinical rotation and graduate on time. COVID didn't stop anything. And a lot of people weren't taking students, but he led me and guided me right to where I needed to go. So ever since then, he has been showing me that this is really what he had for me. And this has become my passion, educating the community on mental health.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. Oh, you know what? I probably need to have a whole separate session with you, because the layers in your story, the being okay with starting a second career. We often say we can't start over. I'm XYZ age, I can't lead in that space. I don't have experience. Like just starting there and then watching all of the pillars and the dominoes fall in place, because you chose to bet on yourself and trust God, right? But definitely bet on yourself and take that step. And here you are today. And thank you, because mental health is such a critical area for us to have. I mean, we hear the talk, we see the statistics all the time. I'm a social worker by trade. I've worked in the area where I have had, clients that were in the mental health space. And I so appreciate those who work, even especially at your level, psychiatric nurse practitioner, like that's real. Sign up, go see the folks and really get some help, So thank you so much for that. So, and I know if you all are listening in the chat, put perseverance, put that in the chat. That's what I heard. Put follow through, put dreams in there. I want you to put those 3 in there, right? Because you can dream at any time and start over. So that's what I'm feeling tonight. That's what I'm feeling. And thank you for sharing your story on that. So Toya, come on, Toya. I know you got something for us too. I'm ready.
Look, she blessed me. So my journey started probably in my teens. My grandmother was a working nurse and still is a nurse, even at 80 something years old. And so I always seen how she was a giver. I always seen the love and care and compassion that she would give. And I told myself that I would be a nurse, but I was going to start off as a medical assistant because I was like, well, maybe I'm not smart enough to be a nurse. So let me just kind of go each little step. That was my mind. And so God really put in my spirit to go to Baptist College. Well, I didn't want to go because I felt like I wasn't smart enough. So I was driving across the bridge to West Memphis. I'm like, I'm going to go to a community college over here. Don't nobody know me. So if I mess up, they're not going to know I messed up. And God has such a sense of humor that it was like, no, you're going to go here. I went to Baptist. I failed the entrance test on my birthday. Ain't that something? I said, wait a minute. And while I was out with my husband eating, he was like, you're going to take the test again. And I was like, I don't want to take the test again.
Good job, Sean. Good job, Sean.
Needless to say, I took the test again and I went to Baptist College. One thing God showed me as a child is a lot of times, sometimes we can say with children, oh, they just got smart mouths or they're whatever. But God was showing me that I was bold. And in that boldness, I was able to go to Baptist College where I became the first African-American student, the nursing president of the Nursing Association. From there, I ended up working at Baptist on the ICU step down floor with Toya. And I do thank Wanda, our manager, Wanda Grayson, because she made a comment to me. She told me, she said, you're not Black or white. You say what needs to be said. And that was during the time that she was actually trying to push me into a leadership role, but I knew God was kind of transitioning me. So I didn't go into that role, but I always had opportunity for leadership. And what I mean by that is when I worked at Baptist Memphis, I worked part-time. So I worked part-time because I told God I need flexibility because I got a lot of stuff to do in my life and I just can't be held down. Right. And he opened that door even to where I was able to serve on their nursing government body for the hospital, where I was able to work in areas that I did not have the training, but I was trained in those areas. Like God just opened up so many doors for me. And then from there, I went to nurse practitioner school. It was very difficult because, again, I didn't want to go. I was like, well, I don't think I'm smart enough to go. And I can say I thank God for my husband for that educational push. And he was like, you know, you need to go to school. And so I went to Tennessee State University. I majored in family nurse practitioner because I just love every part of the body. I feel like God has called me to be a destiny pusher for my patients. And they know we're going to get in the thick of the thick. I'm going to be there for you. But I believe in self-efficacy, meaning that we're going to get a goal together and to push you to obtain the goal that we've set forth. And then from Tennessee State University, I actually was in school I graduated during the pandemic. So my last couple of semesters, God blessed me with preceptorship because it was very difficult because we're in the thick of the pandemic. And from there, God opened up the door for me to work at a doctor's office where that physician closed his doors in the pandemic. And I seen the struggle it took for people to get care. I've always wanted to open up a clinic, but I think that was the extra push to say you can do it. I've never seen no one do it before. I don't really have family members that have a business until recently. And it's just uncharted territories. And so that's kind of my story of how I became a nurse practitioner, and then a clinic owner.
Awesome. Look, and I'm sitting here looking, because I was going to tell y'all, drop in the chat, Wanda Grayson, okay?
I'm going to tag her in this chat.
Wanda, you must have heard your ears burning. Thank you for both of the Toyas. I see her in the chat. Thank you, Wanda. I know you're just jumping in, but you got layers too, Toya. And the storyline again is the perseverance, it's the pushing through, it's the working past negative thought, right? Because we're going to have those doubts. We're going to tell ourselves, maybe I'm not ready, maybe I hadn't measured up. We may have those moments, but it should never halt us from going after what we want. I made a comment the other day on Facebook. I said we can either dreaming should be just as important as breathing, right? We have to breathe every day. So we should be executing our dreams as well. And it should be just as important in pushing past those thresholds. The other piece I really heard, and I know I'm gonna move us along, is that you all have had angels. I'm saying angels, but mentors, be it, the man you were working with that said, are you really sure you want to go into acute care? Or if it's Sean in the back of your ear, Dr. Cook, I'm sorry, in the back of your ear telling you, hey, you really have the ability to move forward. We need those external. We need that external voice, even as leaders. We have it internally, right? Because you knew you could be a nurse practitioner. Something inside of you said you could. That's why you applied, right? At whatever point in your journey. And so just amazing. Okay, I'm gonna shut up because y'all really got me on fire. I really, really appreciate you all sharing your stories and us hearing the layers of, you don't have to count yourself out before you even get started. And it's about just putting one step in front of the other to get it done. And here you all, even you to have your own practice. Like, we're going to get to where you all can sign up with Toya Kemp and Toya Cook at the end. But to be able to go from, I just want to be a medical assistant, to now running your own brick and mortar in 2023. Let's start there, okay? This isn't just virtual, medicine that you're doing. You're in brick and mortar. So kudos to you on that. So when we talk about leadership, and then we'll get off a little bit more into healthcare in a minute. But what do you consider to be your most challenging leadership moment and how you overcame it? Your most challenging, because I hear y'all know how to overcome challenges. So we want the solutions to the problems out here. That's what we're asking for tonight. Yeah.
Ooh, you want me to go, Toya, or you want to go?
I go, Toya. You sound like you're a little reluctant. Let me.
That means she got a good story.
So, one of my obstacles that I was able to overcome in leadership was when Wanda, my manager at Baptist, Wanda Grayson, she came to me and asked me about being her head nurse, being on her leadership team. And I really felt that I was not capable of doing that. You heard in my story that I came in with zero nursing experience, but a lot of life experiences, which she was able to pinpoint that for me. And she kind of guidance. She provided that guidance for me in making that decision by allowing me to see what others saw in me. She pinpointed that in the obstacle was fear. The fear of stepping out, being a leader. The guidance was pinpointing and showing your team person or showing a person who you feel is capable, allowing them to see what others think of them. She told me how my teammates, my peers, or my colleagues already trusted me. She allowed me to see that they already really rely heavily on my thought process and on my leadership, even though I wasn't officially a leader on a team yet, but they already considered me, and I was a go-to, I was a resource for them. And by her allowing me to see that, she helped me to overcome that fear. And as leaders, sometimes leaders, we are great followers. That's a key quality that leaders have. And sometimes we get complacent in just being followers. And we don't realize that we are much more than just a follower. We are a resource, and we are a guide. We are a light for others. And people find that they cling to us and they are cohesive with us because we have that openness, and we communicate, and we're transparent, and they trust us. So she allowed me to see that my colleagues already considered me a resource. And so with that, I took that leap, and I became a head nurse for her on that ICU step-down floor.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for that. Let me see. We got Candace. She says faith over fear. And Miss Wanda Grayson, we friends Wanda, you just don't know it. Miss Wanda, you don't know it. But she entered natural born spiritual leaders. So just wanted to make sure I shout out what we get in the comments. So you all can also feel what you all are getting in the comments and know how you're impacted. So awesome, awesome. What about you, Toya?
Ooh, well, first I have to say, yes, Toya is a natural leader because I would work under her any day, even now. If we were to go back into the hospital and work the floors, I would. Can I share one experience that she did to push me, to guide me?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
As a medical assistant, I would always do blood work. So sticking people was not an issue, right? But as a nurse, I did not like to do IVs because my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm putting this catheter in there. Oh my God. And so I would always get other people to do it. And Toya was so good with IVs. And this was one night, and I'm talking about, now this is my sister in Christ. I was so mad at her at like 2:00 in the morning because I was like, Toya, I need you to get this IV because this person might be crashing and we're going to have to make some moves real quick. And so she was like, no. Like that was her word. And I'm like, wait a minute, like who you talking to at 2:30 in the morning? Because we work the night shift, right? And she was like, no, because if you don't do it now, you're always gonna need someone to help you. And I was firecracker mad. You know how you tell your kids to do something and they mad, but they do it and you later realize, well, dang, it wasn't that bad. And she stood there with me and I did the IV. And ever since then, I work in the hospital now as a hospitalist nurse practitioner too for a local hospital. And it might be where I got to go and put in some IVs and help. So I thank her for that guidance. I wanted to share that.
I love it. Accountability. Like that's where you know you have real people when they hold you, because it was for your good, right? It wasn't just to be, no, I don't feel like doing it, or no, you do it. It was to build you, because today you need to know how to, if I come see you, Toy, I need you to do my arm. I don't need you to send somebody else in the room.
No, I get you. And it's so funny you said accountability, because my two obstacles was fear and accountability. And what I mean by that, and a lot of times I believe people think they want accountability, but you really don't sometimes when you're in the thick of it. So mine would be with the clinic. Obviously, I can't just walk away from a whole clinic. And when I went into starting the business, my heart, my mind was there, but I'm not a business person. And since I don't have a business degree, right? So it's a whole nother ballpark when you getting it in the mud. And there has been times that I've been fearful saying, one, God, did you really tell me to do this? Can I do this? I cannot hide. I have a partner, but it's a marriage. And then the other thing is I'm accountable to these patients, but not even that. God has opened up doors for us to train medical assistant students. So I'm accountable to them. So it's like, what do I do? And what I've learned is I go to the clinic really early and I sit and I read and I ask God to guide me and I pray over the clinic. So that way, when I feel any kind of anxiety, any fear, or I feel like, okay, am I really being accountable? One, to God, two, to myself, and then everything he gave me dominion over, then that puts me in a place where I can say, girl, you got this. You got this. Like, get your life together. That's my favorite saying. Just get your life together.
You said that to me earlier. Thank you. Thank you, because we had to get our life today. I appreciate it. And we do have to tell that to ourselves sometimes. Yeah, I can appreciate that. You know what else I gathered was the teamwork. Like, I love that I can tell that there's teamwork there, right? It's one thing to hold people accountable because you can be separate in doing that, right? But still the teamwork and the camaraderie and the support to be able to help each other navigate those spaces. I love it. Checking in on the chat. Let me see. Sharon's laughing because you were hanger at 2:30 in the morning, getting told no. Dr. Kelma, and then Sharon also said good lesson that you learned from her saying no. So absolutely, we are all on the same page. She also said, girl, I had to say it like that. This was she. I feel like I had to read it just like that. So we can that implies a whole lot behind those stories that you all share. But thank you. I always can appreciate. And some people say, why do you focus on the challenges? Because it's easy for us to tell stories of the rewards and the victories and the times that we don't feel the pressure, but life isn't that, right? Most days it's not that. So how do we push through, whether you're being nurse practitioner, whether you're being mom, whether you're being sister, uncle, community leader, whatever that space is. So thank you for sharing how you've been able to get over a challenge in leadership, because leadership is full of it every day, all day. So let's move into the healthcare industry right quick. We want to help the people out. So if you had 2 tips for a client navigating the healthcare industry, and I'm going to say in your specific areas, right? So we've got family care, and then we've got psychiatric, right? What are 2 tips that you would give a client to best navigate the healthcare industry, like so they can feel in control and navigate it? I know, mouthful.
Ooh.
Just two.
Go Toya.
Okay, so 2 things that I would talk to clients about just navigating their healthcare. One thing is that it's their care. And that it's very important that they are involved in the decision making that's about their care. I never want clients to feel that just because I said it, that's it. No, you know you way better than I know you. I just know what you are presenting to me at this time. So it's very important that they are involved in their care. And the next thing is to know their rights, know what they have the right to do, so that they're not put in predicaments that they don't have to be in. As a nurse, I'm a nurse by nature, so I am naturally an advocate for my patients. So whether I'm a practitioner or a nurse or a friend or whatever it is, I'm an advocate just by nature. So I'm always advocating for your best interest. So I want to educate you and be open to education and be open to allowing yourself to be informed about what's going on. Don't just take what the doctor said and run with it. Go and do your own research about it. That way you can ask informed questions and get good answers. And you and your doctor, or you and your practitioner, or you and your provider can build a good relationship and a strong therapeutic alliance.
I love it. You have to be assertive. I'm probably sometimes a little pushy, but you have to make sure you're asking the questions. I'm like, stop. What was that word you just said? Give me the dummy term. And then the step further is researching even further so that you really understand what you're being told. So I appreciate that. And again, that's like self-accountability. So I like that. And then realizing that it's truly our healthcare. So if we don't take charge of it, no one else is. They're not going to take charge of it the same way. Would you say it's a good thing to maybe, even though you can request your own records, would you say it's a good thing to take your own notes when you go to a doctor's office? Yeah.
Definitely. So because when you hit that door and you make that drive home, a lot of things you're not going to remember, so that you can reference what was said when you were in consultation with your provider. You can reference what the provider said, thoughts that you had. So it's a very good idea to take notes, and even to talk to somebody else, your wife or your husband, about what happened in your doctor's appointment today. Hey, baby, this is what they said. And this is what they want us to do. That way we can do this together. Or someone close to you, a strong support system, can help you navigate through those things.
Absolutely. My Aunt Gloria, shout out to Aunt Gloria on the live with us tonight. She said, take some with you, exactly what you were saying. I've had the honor of being able to start joining my mother more often at the doctor's office. And so it's been really important that I either take my phone, so I'm typing her notes, or I'm writing it down myself, because we'll go visit another doctor and it's like, what did that doctor say? And I'm like, hold on, let me go back. So I just threw that out because it's a tactical thing to do, other than just show up at the doctor's office, that you can take more charge. So I'm gonna shut up. What's your 2 tips, Toya Cook?
So one is I tell people all the time, ask questions, like, and ask them again, and ask it again. And if you don't understand it, hey, can you say it again? I don't understand that term. That is really, really big for me. And I tell people all the time, this is your life. You get one life. You have one body.
Yeah.
That means that if you got to write it down and ask it and come back and call or do it. And the other thing is take ownership. When we get a plan, see, we can get stuff together and we can sit with you for hours. I've sat with people, oh my God, for a long time. And we go through everything. And I'm a big writer. So I write down our plan. And I'm like, hey, this is our goal. And this is what we're going to do. And what do you want to do? Because we're doing life together, right? And then from there, I can't do it for you. And I can give you medicine all day, but eventually it's like we're doing like a heal. We're just constantly adding. So it's going to take ownership. So ask a lot of questions and take ownership.
I love it. I love it. And that's even before you start saying, let me go find healthcare. Let me go get in the systems. Like, I love that. That's the foundation. Like, one, understand that you have to take ownership for it, and then being okay with pressing the envelope in the space. Because sometimes we're like, oh, I don't want to seem like I'm asking too much. And he already said it once. I don't care. You're going to tell it to me 5 times until I feel comfortable and I can go and regurgitate or, you know, be able to come back and say to my daughter when we get home, oh, let me tell you what the doctor said about me, right? So I definitely appreciate both of those. Absolutely. So here's a quick question for you, because I've never been able to ask a nurse practitioner this question. And I always see my nurse practitioners most of the time when I go to the doctors. I love y'all. I really like to see y'all over the doctors, to be quite honest. But I love my doctor too. I do get to see my doctor, but it's just something about my nurse practitioners I love. But how do you all deliver hard conversations to your clients? What is that process to go through that? Because we're sitting on the other end to take it in is difficult, right? When we're getting the diagnosis or the treatment plans that we aren't very big fans of. But how do you all approach delivering hard information as a leader?
So I deliver hard information, I feel like, all day long, because the population that I serve are struggling. They come to me broken and they're tearful, and some of them are having suicidal thoughts and intrusive thoughts, and some of them are performing acts of self-harm. They're cutting themselves, or they're restricting their diet. They're not eating. So I have to really approach them delicately in during this initial phase when I initially meet them. And what I like to, and how I like to kind of bring them in, number one, I let them know I'm on your team. Like, I'm your biggest cheerleader right now. I'm supporting you. I'm here. I'm watching you as you travel this journey of whether it's depression or schizophrenia or bipolar, whatever they're going through. I'm your biggest cheerleader. Count a win a win. Whether it's a big win or a small win, it's a win. If you were able to get up and get out the bed today without somebody having to nudge and pull you, that's a win. Because I remember when you came and you told me, I just don't want to get out of bed. I just want to stay in the bed all day. So I allow them to understand that I am on their team. I'm a part of their support system, and I always include myself, because I ask, so who do you consider your support system? And they'll say, well, my mom and my sister, you know, and my fur baby. And I say, and Toya, like, and me, I'm a part of your support system, because I got you. When you are falling, call me. I got you. If you feel like your medications are not working, I got you. So I allow myself to be vulnerable and transparent. I allow them to know that even me, your nurse practitioner, went through a moment of depression. I share my story with them. I'm not afraid to allow them into my world, because they are allowing me into their world. So my approach is, I want to be transparent. I want you to know that vulnerability and being in a vulnerable state and having hard, dark days is not just a you thing. I have also had dark days. So that's my approach. I want them to know I'm on their team.
I feel better already, and I'm not a client. it sounds like the delivery is handled, quite appropriately, right? And I'm sure, each one has its own dynamic, right? When you're dealing with each person, your audience is different. Like you said, the diagnoses are different, and how people receive things. So I love that. I love that. Truly being mindful of what's going to be received on the other end. So what about you, Ms. Cook? Well, how are you telling your patients hard information?
Ooh. All right. So first, I tell people the Holy Spirit guides my care and it also guides my delivery. And so I have to sit and first, what's the person's personality and how can I strategically give them the truth? I tell people you will never have to wonder what I think or how I feel, and I never want to sugarcoat it. And that's the thing that used to bother me in healthcare, is because we would have people come there and sometimes not tell them the truth. And so what I would do, for example, I can use like the hospital. So we had like a lady that looked like she had cancer and it looked very aggressive, but with anything, we got to do a biopsy. So going in the room, I would say, hey, the scan shows this. However, we need to do additional tests, but I want you to focus on healing and I want you to focus on understanding exactly what we're saying to you so we can develop the best plan for you.
Okay.
And I'm a hugger. So in that, I always say, can I give you a hug? Because personal touch to me, it shows a vulnerability, because a lot of times people don't like to be touched. People had traumatic experience from being touched, or people don't even understand the love in touch because they never were touched. And I feel like that helps me to deliver that information better. I sit with them. Some people may want to talk. Some people may not. Do you need anything? Is there anything I can give you? You know what? A cup of coffee or some water, it can feel like $1 million sometimes to people. It's the smallest thing. So that's a way that I would deliver it to the patients. Now, if I have to deliver some information to like students or staff, it's always direct, but I always ask them, what can we do better and where do we go from here? Because I always want people to feel, patient or staff, like we're a team and I need your input just as well as you need mine. So what can we do better together?
Ooh, that's how you get people to transform for real. Come on, transformation. I heard it. I told you the thread is going to be there. This is so awesome. The thread is going to be there. Thank you all for both sharing it. Because again, I know what it feels like to receive, right? As patients, we know what it's like to say, oh man, now I got to take this pill, or you want me to start exercising a little bit, or you want me to start writing my thoughts down and, following where my thought patterns are, right? But to know that you all are walking with us, and then to hear, I want to say it's above and beyond the call of duty, right? Nobody says you got to hug. Nobody says you got to offer coffee or listen harder or spend more time, right? You could just say, all right, I did my part. Thank you. We'll see you at the next visit. But to be able to go the extra mile makes an individual want to take more control of their own healthcare. So you all help to impact that as well. Back to you all's points and suggestions earlier. So we got that's good from Chanel Tompkins. And yes, I had to say it like that. If I'm telling you, if y'all put it in the chat like that, I'm gonna read it the way I feel like I hear. Yes, that's what she's feeling tonight. Love it, love it, love it. So that was all the boring stuff, even though it was darn good, right? But I always like to play this or that. We're getting close to our time. So this or that. We just take our hair down just a little bit more. But this has been absolutely amazing. I've loved learning about your leadership and your journey and the way you've overcome challenges. And I have taken notes tonight, and I know the audience has. I've heard transformation, servant leadership, and I've heard guidance all the way through. So this or that, don't think too hard. I'm going to throw them out and you get to pick which one. Just say it, whatever comes to mind. Okay. We're going to have some fun. And I've only got 3 tonight. So here we go. All right. So is it you are what you eat, or an apple a day keeps the doctors away?
You are what you eat.
You are what you eat. Yes.
I Googled them and I was like, what are some quotes? Because we always hear, I always heard an apple a day, right? And I still don't eat my apple, shame on me, unless they're already carved and packaged in, convenience in 2023. But But you are absolutely what you eat. You become that wholeheartedly. I have learned the hard way. But anyway, all right. So are we doing a 7 to 3 shift or are we doing a 3 to 11 shift? What are we doing?
7 to
3
3.
to 11. If I have to pick.
How y'all gonna work the house together if y'all got 2 different shifts? We need y'all back on the house together.
So our shift will be 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I think Toya is talking about now. By nature, I like the evening shift because I like my daytime.
Okay. I love it. So we got night owls and not so much night owls.
Yeah, I'm definitely a night owl, but in my older age, I'm able to enjoy I got grandbabies now, so I can enjoy my grandbabies in the evening time. So that's the only reason.
Priorities. That's what that is. Values. See, I love the way we just talk about all the important stuff because even as leaders, we have to pick and choose where we spend our time, even in our work. You know, if we have control in that way, you know, do I work a morning shift? Do I work an evening shift? Because where do I need to place my other time to really hone in on the other values? Because we're talking about healthcare tonight, and we rarely pay as much attention to healthcare as we should. So I love that y'all are talking about every corner of the life and paying attention to our values and what's important. Let me see real quick. Angela said she's 44 and just finished nursing prereqs, but haven't applied to nursing school due to fear of failure. This was confirmation for me. Sis, Angela, I already know you got this. And I'm so glad you jumped on tonight because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. I love it. Miss Campbell told you that if you didn't hear it at the beginning.
Go get it, Angela. Go get it.
Yeah. Quite a bit. All right, last this or that. Are we meditating or are we walking?
Oh my
Both.
God, walking. Because I walk and meditate.
I said both.
Look, because you can meditate while you walk, right?
Right.
Because if I just meditate, I might go to sleep because I need activity. So I got to walk and meditate.
Well, awesome. Thank you for playing my this or that. I love to do that every time we do this. But like I said, you all are my best friends now. And I know how to catch y'all. I can DM, what else can I do? Send text, I can email, but as always, I want my audience, because you all don't know this. They were like, I need to know the Campbell, Miss Cook have any time on the books. Like, how can people connect with you? How can we follow you? How can we be able to support what you're doing? But we want you to get more clients and more clients. How can we connect? That's if you want it. You might not want all the clients.
Oh.
Okay, so you can, if you are struggling with mental health issues, you or someone you love, and you need a provider. So what I do is I do medication management. I am the person who you come to when you need medications for you're depressed or you're anxious or you got things going on and you really don't know what's going on. You're struggling with grief and loss and you really can't get past it. You come to me and I talk to you and we'll discuss things. I can also make referrals to therapists. I work at the Transformation Center in Cordova, Tennessee. I do outpatient med management, but we're also a partial hospitalization intensive outpatient program. We really help people with a wide variety of diagnoses, from eating disorder all the way to schizophrenia. So come and get the help that you need if you need it, or refer someone who you know is struggling. And we are located at 1088 Rogers Road. The number is 901-755-1396. And I have to say this, I wouldn't be a mental health nurse practitioner if I didn't. If you know someone who is struggling with suicidal thoughts and cannot get in touch with anybody, please ask them to dial 988. Dial 988. It's the 911 for mental health crisis. If there is no one else, dial 988.
Oh, I love it. And all of this is in the chat, you all. If you all need to follow up on it, that's Transformation Center. Did I get that right? Okay, Transformation Center in Cordova. It tried, that's Tennessee. I don't know what the autocorrect tried to do there, but 1088 Rogers Road, and the number is also in the chat. So whether it's you or someone else, you know, it's serious, you all. And the more we keep living the way this world is, you know, maneuvering us, we need this type of attention, even if it's any extreme. So I love that you talk about it. Doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum, if the attention is needed, for sure. So thank you for that. And what about you, Ms. Cook? How can we follow you and get with you?
All right. So you can follow me on Facebook at LaToya Cook, also Instagram. We also have a Trinity Comprehensive Healthcare page. The clinic is called Trinity Comprehensive Healthcare Center. And we're on Facebook and also Instagram. On Instagram, it will be, I think, Trinity CHCC. We have a website, is trinitychcc.com. We are located at 2838 Hickory Hill Road, Suite 29, and that's Memphis, Tennessee, 38115. Our phone number is 901-676-6218. Our phone number is a secure text. You can text us morning, noon, or night. I promise you, somebody will respond. That is the main place that you can locate me. I do have a partner named Donna Willis as well. We provide family medicine. So we do everything from anxiety and depression screenings. Now, when we get deeper, that's where I send you to my girl Toya, and I refer a lot of people to her. We can do your pap smears. We can do work physical. We can do everything. We do men's health. Men, please, please, please. That is my heart. Your blood pressure, diabetes, just your overall health. We 12 and up, 12 to 120, whatever age, we see them all. So that's the main place that you can see me. I also work for Methodist as a hospitalist nurse practitioner. I do not want to see you there because that means we got some work to do. So we don't even want to get to that point. We don't want to get to that point. But if I was ever to see you, then just say, hey, I see you online or whatever, and I'm gonna love on you, and prayerfully we're gonna get you where you need to be.
I love it. I love it. Don't show up in Methodist. It's too late. It's Toya said it's too late. No. And then, or if you leave Methodist and then you need to come back and see Toya afterwards, because now you got some follow through. You can do that, or she gonna pass you on to Ms. Campbell, Ms. Toya Campbell, if you need some work in that area. So I love this partnership and this teamwork that y'all have. And we have to do that. I love that. The leadership, I'm sorry, it hit me. The resourcefulness, even in you all's leadership, to be able to understand that you got to collaborate so that you can be able to maximize the care that you offer your clients, right? Oh, I just love it. I just love it. See, y'all, I'm telling you, I'm glad all the trouble we had before this call happened, okay? Because we needed it to get us to this point. So thank you again so much, Toya. And thank you so much, LaToya Cook and Toya Turner. Thank you both for joining us. You all were absolutely dynamic, as I said, the dynamic Toyas. I love it. I love it. Thank you all for joining us. To our audience, thank you all for tapping in. I'm telling y'all, you all put a lot of great info and engagement in the chat. Thank you all so much. Please connect with these two ladies. Your physical, emotional, mental health matters. So connect with them. They are two resources. And if they can't get it done, they just told you, they're going to make sure they help you get it done. So they'll use their resources to help you as well. So please, please connect with them. And if not, if you're in another city or another state, make sure that you take some of those good notes and those tips that they gave us about taking control of our healthcare, but also taking control of our leadership. And that's what tonight was about. You all shared so much, and thank you so much. So with that, I want you all to continue to follow me as well. I am Christin Webb, your Chief Leadership Enthusiast with the Greater You Leadership Series. This is Women Leaders Walk the Talk. If you aren't already a part of the community on Facebook, make sure you do that. And you can follow all things Greater You Leadership Series and Women Leaders Walk the Talk at www.thegreateryouleadership.com. And you can follow all of our handles on all social medias at The Greater You Leadership. We are now also on Spotify. I meant to make sure I made that announcement as well. So if you like to listen to Spotify as your platform, you can now tap into the Women Leaders Walk the Talk online discussions, they are now on Spotify as well. So trying to make it easy and accessible wherever you are. We want you to get this good news. We are back in July. It's going to be the third Thursday of the month. We're going to have some more amazing panelists on, and it's going to be my birthday. So I'm telling y'all, we're going to clown. Okay, so if you come back in here in July, we clowning in July because it's my birthday, okay? And I always like to celebrate only how I know how to celebrate. So other than that, this has been amazing. Thank you all again. And as always, remember, let's lead. You all take care. Let me get my panelists to stay on for me.